Okay, so why don't we talk about line of action? Line of action to me is extremely important in your posing. When you have good line of action, especially in full body posing, it gives your characters a sense of fluidity, it gives them appeal, and it gives them a lot of clarity. When you have a nice strong line of action through your posing, it directs the viewer which way to look. It gives your character flow. It gets the eye to move around the character in pleasing ways. Let me go ahead. Why don't we just go ahead and start drawing, and I'll explain what I'm talking about. A lot of times when you don't have good line of action, or all the time when you don't have good line of action, the pose will feel kind of jumbled up. It'll feel like random parts just kind of stuck together. But when you get that good line of action and everything in the pose is supporting that, then everything fits, everything flows. Okay, so let's go ahead and just go ahead and dive in. Why don't we I'll start with something really simple, just to explain what I'm talking about. Let's say we've got a character that's maybe pushing something. And so I'm going to take character here, and I'm going to keep these very loose because I want you to see what I'm talking about. So let's say we have a character in profile like so, and we're going to get these arms up here like so, and they're pushing. Maybe the shoulders up here, and they're going to push. They're pushing really hard. So I want to get a good line of action right through the body like that. And already you can start to feel what I'm talking about. That chest is going to be pushed up like so. Maybe that foot down here like this. And that other leg is maybe over here. Like this. So what I've done here is I've got this line of action moving right through the body and then up into this area where we get a nice straight. And a lot of times, if you can see how loose I'm being here, let's give this kid some shorts or something. And we'll give him a shirt and hair like this. Okay, so I always start this loose, especially if I'm trying to do some dynamic posing, because then that allows me to, I can start with that real fluid line of action, very loosely start to build on top of it, and then eventually I can work my way out and tie it down. But this is a great way to start. And you can see that nice, simple, strong line that I'm driving through that character right there. Let me move this off to the side. Let's try another one. Let's try one that might be a little bit more complex. I'm going to turn that off. How about like a kid skateboarding? So if I have this kid, let's say he's here like this. I'm going to draw his head in here. All right, let's put his shoulders up in the air, and I want to get kind of this S line of action through the air like this. And I'm going to hunch his body over, and you'll notice I'll play areas of simplicity against areas of complexity to help emphasize that line of action. And I want this to go right through here, right up into his other arm, maybe right into his hands. Like this. Coming down, wrinkly shirt. Let's say he's got a foot coming up. This leg is coming up here. There we go. But I want this to come down like so. And then there we go. Maybe that foot's coming this way. Then we'll come up here. See how loose I'm being? Being very loose, really thinking about line of action. It comes through the body. Let's go ahead and get this other foot in here. Maybe his foot's coming up here and he's jumping onto a skateboard like this. And we'll get the wheels down in here. Let's sweep his hair back and give him a little more action. But you can see I'm being very, very loose. There, let's get that because I want to mimic that. I'm going to get that right in the thighs. See, so now you can feel the fluidity of this action coming around as this kid is skateboarding. Give him a little smile, like so. There we go. There. And we'll pull that back, put some wrinkles in his shirt. So, there we go. So now, once I've got this loosely drawn in like this, as a maybe this is a little comic, cartoony character that we want to animate. Once I get something laid in that's really loose like this, is like once again, that's how I usually do it. Then I can come in and I can start to tie things down, but I've already got that. That line of action established. So once that's established, then I can come in and just kind of relax, and there we go. And just have some fun with the posing, with the drawing. Give him some bigger ears. Bring that shoulder up, like he's tucked his shoulder up, and there we go. We'll sweep that hair back. And so you can see how quickly, if you're really paying attention to that line of action, how quickly you can lay something in and let that be kind of the starting point for you to get some nice, strong posing in here. Now I can come in and go, okay, now I want that to come in here. I want this to come around. But notice I'm still trying to stay nice and fluid. Some of those wrinkles come around like so. See, I'm saying nice and simple because I want the eye to follow along here. So I don't want to break this line up really, a lot, because that'll break up it'll break up the fluidity. There we go. Get this in here, right into the knee. He's a teenager, so I'm trying to keep him kind of gangly. There we go, like so. And I'm going to bring this down. I'm going to draw through. Here we go, and I'll get these shorts back here, right into this knee, like so. I want to turn this leg in just a little bit. Still staying fairly loose, but clear. You want to stay loose, but clear. But now you can see, and actually, I can stand to break that up just a little bit if I want to add a little bagginess to the shirt, something like that. Here we go. Right into his hands. And here I can get a little more detail now with the hands, as you can see I'm doing here. There. All starting loose and all starting with a strong line of action. Imagining that coming right up through. I'm going to keep the nice straight against the curve right here. And there we go, the hand. There. Very quick. So there you go. I'm just gonna quickly throw that in there. So there's a skateboard. So you can see we got a nice fluid, pretty quickly drawn kid after laying in this nice line of action. Let's turn that on. But remember, you know, starting loose, like I did with the kid pushing the object there up on the upper right, you can build on it. You want to get nice, strong statements, really strong statements with what you're trying to say. Let's try some more. Even something that's not really action oriented, you still want to have a nice line of action. Let's say the kid's just standing there. You know, we have a kid and he's just kind of, maybe he's just looking off to the right or off to the left, his right. And maybe he's just walking his dog, but something off screen, I'm just making this up as we go. Something off screen caught his eye. And so he's just sitting here, let's see here. And I just want to get kind of this feel right here. I want to find a nice clean line of action. And I'm going to go ahead and get his arms in here. There we go. Something here, and maybe that's the dog leash. And maybe he's out walking his dog. Let's go with that. And notice how loose. I always stay very, very loose. And use that, you know, once again, I like, you know, it's easy to do this with the thin characters. There, see this nice, knowing the anatomy, I got this nice kind of S, very subtle S shape coming in. Maybe he's got kind of baggy pants on and going down into his feet. Like so. There. Let's give him some sleeves, collar. But you can see it's very subtle, but it still has a nice, sweeping, clean line of action, which is what I'm, you know, shooting for there. And once again, if I wanted to, I could come in and using that as my starting place, I can come in and just start to tie it down. You know, so I'd come in here and he's going, what's that? Maybe he sees a pretty girl. Maybe it's the, you know, he sees the girl he's been, you know, afraid to talk to at school. And it's caught his attention. You know, I always like to make up little stories about characters as I'm drawing them. It makes them more real. Here we go. So now he's looking off to the side and so now I can come in and like I was talking about before, I can come in and nicely tie down the drawings. Here, I'm going to let this kind of come out and keep this line nice and clean. Just have that come right down and do a little bunching up of the fabric on his pants. There we go. Same thing here. There, see? And even though I'm staying loose, you know, it still feels a bit, you know, fairly tied down. You know, this is something we could animate. And I'm always looking for those simple lines of action, that simple statement that's nice and clean. There we go. And he's holding that leash going down to the dog, okay? And there. Nice, clean line of action. Even on something as mundane as a character just standing there, you want to make sure that your line of action is nice and clean and clear so that the eye can flow through that pose and the viewer knows where to look, and the viewer will kind of move through the pose. And that's what gives appeal as well, okay? Let's go ahead and move those out of the way. So we've got these now. We've got these three that we've just done. Why don't we turn them off? I'll do one more drawing real quick. How about something kind of, let's see here. We'll do something a little broader. How about a little gymnast? The kid's doing maybe a cartwheel, handstand, something. Breakdancing. Does anybody breakdance anymore? I don't know. That's showing my age. Anyway, let's have him, maybe he's looking down, like so. There we go. Drawing that, you know, thinking about construction, even though I'm drawing loose. And have a nice, I'm going to move this down. See what I just did? I want to go, look at that line of action. I'm going to build on that, okay? So I'm going to shrink that up a little bit. So I want to build on that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to really have a nice, simple, I want these lines to be nice and simple coming through here. And maybe his hands, you know, he's doing like a little one-handed thing here. Nice strong line there. And that's going to go right up. We'll give him a sleeve here. There we go. And his arm is coming out. See, I'm building on this line of action right up into the hand. Like so. And here, I'm going to have this leg come up. Come up into his shorts, like so. There we go. Nice and loose. Notice how loose I'm staying. There we go. Right up into his foot. There we go. Something like that. Now, what are we going to do with the other one? Well, I like all this bunching. You know, we got nice, simple line of action coming through here. That's where I wanted that clarity. Now I can take this other leg and I can emphasize it. I can have it kind of feel like it's coming around like so by doing something like this. Here's the other, there's the knee. It's coming up here. Maybe it's coming towards us. And let's draw his foot like so. Coming right towards us. There. And just a matter of seconds, we drew this, this kid very quick. This arm is a little bit small. It's going away, but still feels small to me. We got this nice sense of fluidity, this line of action by, you know, working this nice scribbly drawing. Now you could do something, what if I, you know, move the arm back here? See, this makes it, that gives it weight with it sitting there. I'm just experimenting. This is the other fun thing. You know, if you're keeping it loose, you can, there, now it feels like he's like springing off of his hand there. You know, see there? Putting it right off of his hand. You can experiment more. You don't, you know, if you're staying loose, if you're drawing really tight, it's, you know, you're gonna not want to screw it up. But if you're staying loose like I'm doing here, then, you know, you'll experiment more and you'll try to find poses that are more pleasing. And maybe he's going, oh, he's falling over. Maybe he's making a big face there, he's falling over. So here now, when I lighten that up, now that I found something that I kind of like, now I can come over here and just like we did before, I can start to fill in. I'll bring this up, blow this up. I can start to tie it down. Just like so. Whoa. There we go. And maybe, yeah, he's looking down at the ground that he's falling into. He's going to fall right into the ground. And maybe his hair, let's have his hair kind of, whoa. And I can have his hair kind of follow the same direction as the rest of the line of action. Maybe it'll emphasize that line of action a little bit more. There we go. So the point being, get in there, be loose, and find really early in your posing, find that line of action and keep it nice and simple, because that will add appeal to your drawing. So here you can see we can just sit in here and I can draw and draw, you know, and just really tie all this down. And now because I've got that understructure, that nice loose drawing, really emphasizing line of action, I can then sit down and relax and put in the details, as long as I'm still remembering the fluidity, and tie that drawing down and give it some appeal, okay? Let's turn these back on. So that's line of action. I got a few more that I drew earlier that I figured I'm just gonna pull them over and we can go over them. So here I've got a few more. I spent a whole, I took the afternoon and did a whole bunch here. And I just want to go over them real quick. I think you guys are getting the sense of it, but I'm just going to go ahead and draw over it. So here, once again, this is real strong, real obvious. Right here, line of action, right through the body, just like so. I really want, and I want it to feel, impact. If I had another kid here, I would bend that body this way and make it feel like he's really punching through, pushing through. Here I've got his gaze going this way on this character, on this drawing, and I've got this line of action swooping right up and kind of feeding right into the gaze there. See that? And even into this leg. I've got that flow. Right here. All of this feeds right into here and right into here, that S shape. Line of action, finding the fluidity. Here I've done the same thing. Fluidity, just like so. Feed it right through the body. And then there's also this. I've got a nice strong straight going through here so you can feel the tension. That was the intent there. So those are lines of action. Here's another one. From the hand all the way through the body and right out of the foot. Line of action right there. It's really strong. This one, even though I bunched him up, there's still this kind of posing right here. And if you look, it goes right into his gaze where he's looking. Okay? Right here, really obvious. Everything kind of feeds right into that head. It's almost like an arrow. Line of action, strong line of action. Now notice also I'm opening up those silhouettes. I'm trying to keep those silhouettes nice and clear. Okay? Nice clear silhouette on top of that strong line of action will give you strong, appealing poses. And then once again, the same thing. I've got this here coming right up into that character. So if I turn this on and off, you can really see those lines of action going through the character. It's very, very important. It's one of the fundamentals that we think about when we're posing our characters, when we're animating, when we're making model sheets, whatever it is that we're doing when we're trying to design our characters or animate them, we always make sure that there's a strong line of action going through so that we can feel the forces, we can feel appeal, we can guide the eye through the pose. And it just overall, it gives everything much more appeal. Okay? So why don't we go ahead and move on to the next video.